So throughout these years, and believe me when I say years, I mean years, probably 25 just for the state of Ohio, you go through these phases where you wonder, are you doing any good? Are things getting any better? Is the world ever going to change? And you start to lose hope sometimes, and you start to wonder, am I doing even anything that makes a difference? And I was in one of those phases when I came to do a training, and I was introduced to Kelli and Betty, and she lifted my spirit. She reminded me of why I do the work I do. She reminded me that one person can make a huge difference in this world. So when I met Betty and we started talking, and I realized how much we had in common. So I really wanted to try and support her through programs, but just through a mutual friendship. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and I don't want to be the negative person in here, but here's the realities of the world today. 1 in 6 women will be a victim of rape. 1 in 10 boys. You look at the number of children Betty has. Look at the number of people you know. And I'm telling you, these are real facts. They're just not numbers, they are people. But more concerningly for me is human trafficking. Now, we live in Ohio. Ohio's the heart of it all. When I was growing up and I'd see my relatives who lived in other states, they would say, oh, you live in farm country. You guys only deal with cows and pigs, and I was thinking, I've never even seen a cow and pig where I live. But nonetheless, that's how we were saw. And as time went on and I started doing human trafficking in our office, first started to work with missing children's clearinghouse, and then as time went on, I started to realize that human trafficking is right here in Ohio. And as they started to check those statistics, now for those of you who don't know these statistics, please be prepared because it shocked me and I see the darkness. That Ohio is number 5 in human trafficking in all 50 states. In 50 states, we rank 5th in human trafficking. Toledo is the 4th city in the United States, number 4. So we're not just that little farm town where you can send your kids out back to play and never worry about it, because it's right here in Ohio. So what is the face of someone in human trafficking? Well, a lot of people, if you put it out and you ask people, which of this group do you think are a victim of human trafficking, and you will see that they will pick people that are maybe Asian or Indian. But I'm here to tell you that it is the everyday face that you see in the mirror. They're the everyday child, they're the everyday adult, they're the everyday woman, and they're the everyday man. How many of you have ever been to a restaurant, you see kids running around? That work there, you think, with their families, right? So you're in the restaurant, you see these kids running around, and you see them picking up dishes, or in the back, or they're changing things, and you think, oh, this is a family-owned restaurant. Well, in Ohio, we have gone in and found that these children were sold by their parents, and they are working. They're not going to school. They're not enjoying being a child. They are working in servitude, being sold at the hands of their parents. So I see the world in a whole different way. When I go into a restaurant, I'm staring. I know people think I'm crazy. I'm just like, hey, do you belong to somebody here? I start talking to people. What I want to tell you about that is open your eyes and open your hearts, because you may notice things that you wouldn't have noticed before after today. If you see something that doesn't feel right or it doesn't look right, don't hesitate to call the police. And tell them, it may be nothing, but I see this thing and it doesn't feel comfortable. Will you check it out? And they will. I had a case not too long ago. I get my hair done at the same place forever. And next door to where I get my hair done is an adult bookstore. I've never been in it, I swear. So I kept seeing this woman and a young child coming out of the back of the adult bookstore. And the little girl was probably 7. And every time I saw her, I'm like, something's not right about that. So I called the police. And I said, this may be nothing, but it's an adult bookstore, and I keep seeing this little girl come out of the back. So the police come, I'm not there, they call me back later, and it turned out that they lived in an apartment above the adult bookstore, and everything was fine. But I said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so embarrassed. And he said, no, I'm so glad you called, because it could have been something. So I want you guys to remember that. Now I just want to talk a little bit about what Betty does. This community has, I mean, I wish I could move, but I don't think my grandchildren would come with me. But I have been so impressed when I talk to Betty and she's like, yeah, this place is doing this. I've seen in this community the spiritual leaders. I've seen in this community fire department and law enforcement. I've seen the businesses. I've seen the neighbors. I've seen people that weren't friends but now are friends come together and support Betty and her angels. And I can't tell you how much that means for me personally. It continues to inspire me to remember that there are still people out there who see the world through eyes of not just what they need or what their family need, but how they can help their fellow man. Betty's kids, if you haven't met them, they're amazing. Amazing children. They're so well behaved. I keep threatening to send my kids there, spend a couple of weeks in Betty boot camp, because I don't know how she gets them to behave so well. But it's amazing to me what you guys have done to come together. When I met Kelli, there wasn't near the things in place that there are now. So for me personally, I just want to thank you guys as a community for coming together. I want to thank you for seeing that kids just need somebody to love them. The studies show that no matter how dysfunctional a child's life is, no matter what they see in drug abuse, alcohol abuse, domestic violence, no matter what they live through, if they have one solid, steady adult that shows them love and support, they can turn their whole lives around. So in Betty, what we have is someone willing to do the work, right? She's willing to put it all in there. Betty loves those kids. You know, when foster care started, it wasn't to be a family. It was to take children out of a temporarily situation, fix it, and send those children home. But we all know that's not how it works. So what we have is someone here who's willing to love them, bathe them, cook and clean for them. She has crock pots all over the house. I mean, it's like you walk, oh, don't step over the green beans. You know, there's just everywhere. She's willing to do all that, and you guys are all amazing that you're willing to come in and say, let me help. Let me help. And because of all of you, everyone in this room, and people who couldn't make it today, and Betty, these kids are going to come out of here, and they're going to come out being advocates. They're going to come out being activists. They're going to come out saying, I knew what it was like to be loved. I knew what it was like to be part of a family. And I know what it's like to share and work well in society. So I want to thank you guys so very much for coming. I want to thank you for all the support that you do. And I want to thank Betty for letting me just be a little bit a part of this. And I guess without any further ado, oh, I wonder what that word means. Does anybody know? I don't know, everybody says it. I will hand this back over and we'll get ready for the fashion show. Thank you.
All right, you want to come draw for me? Come on.